Hi team, welcome to this afternoon's live. What I want to do in this one is I want to sort of just go over yesterday's sort of exercises, the breathing exercises, the Qigong exercises, so that you can actually see them, because unfortunately yesterday, because of the way I had the camera sort of angled, I was right over this side and I think you caught just a little bit of it. So I want to go through those exercises because it's really, really important for us to be taking this time to really make our immune system strong and also focusing on our lungs. Because what do we know about this coronavirus? We know that it's respiratory dysfunction, so it sort of basically affects the lungs. So the stronger the lungs are, right, the better you're going to cope with it when you get infected. Because you know, the reality is that, you know, we need to build our own immunity against it. It's something which is completely new and foreign to the human body, and without sort of any vaccines, we are going to have to create our own vaccine, our own immune system, get it sort of geared up. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a modern day Superman called Wim Hof. Now, one of the things about sort of this enforced isolation is that we've obviously got some time on our hands. You know, we're not sort of filling our day with our normal routines. And one of the things I've encouraged you to do, and I'm doing as well, is I'm educating myself. And I had heard about Wim Hof ages ago and thought, wow, that's really interesting. You know, that's incredible that he can do that. I wonder how he does that. And that's about as far as it got. But now I've taken the time, thanks again to YouTube, amazing resource, and Google, to actually sort of check up on some of his teachings and some of his trainings. And I'm blown away, as I'm sure you will be as well, because he has shown in so many ways how the human body has really got no limits. It actually doesn't have any limits. You know, we unfortunately enforce these limits on ourselves because of what we're told, what we see, what we teach. But if we think about it, you know, human beings have done that inherently. And if we think about sort of Roger Bannister ran sort of the mile in under 4 minutes. And up to that point, anatomists, physiologists, doctors all believed that your heart would explode out of your chest if you ran that fast to be able to achieve under a 4 minute mile. But he did it. And the interesting thing is that once he did it, what happened was that lots of other people did it as well. Lots of other people did it too. And it just goes to show you. Now, what excites me is the fact that the 2 hour marathon barrier was broken, and I was glued to the screen because having run 7 marathons, I know what it takes to run a marathon, and I was just transfixed to the TV screen, just watching this amazing athlete sort of run this marathon, and for him to sustain that metronomic sort of rhythm and pace every mile was just phenomenal. And I know there's lots of controversy about the shoes and everything else, but the fact is he did it. And what was and is still very, very exciting is what will the athletes sort of in the next few years actually achieve. You know, now that the 2 hours sort of barrier for the marathon has been broken, then what will the human being achieve next? You know, how many other sort of athletes will achieve sort of that marathon in under 2 hours? Because it's been done. You know, the 4 minute mile for the 4 minute for the mile, right, was considered impossible. Roger Bannister did it. Now there's so many athletes who are doing it, you know, and not just international athletes, but local athletes as well. So I'm excited by the prospect. And what I love about Wim Hof is that he is not about himself. He, as he says, he is just demonstrating sort of what is actually possible by you. What is possible by you, right? And what really excited me was the fact that, you know, because obviously you think, oh, he's a genetic freak, you know, it's not, I can't do it, you know, it's you know, he did it, it's not possible for me. But he has an identical twin. He has an identical twin, all right? So they carry the same sort of genetic material, they're identical, and the identical twin has not been, not been able to do the things that Wim Hof did. Was not able to do the things that Wim Hof did. But Wim Hof taught him, and now he can do it as well. And that wasn't not just an isolated case. He also taught some other people as well. But I'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to do now is I want to go straight ahead and do the Qigong exercises, and I'll come back and enthuse you a little bit more about Wim Hof. Okay guys, so what we're going to do is we're just going to start, and again, you know, all credit to Kung Fu Life, watch his video. So we're going to start by just making a fist here to our stomach, and we're going to breathe in. Now remember, that is breathing in through the nose, all right? We're breathing in through the nose. We're not using our mouth, right? Because the nose is what is designed to take oxygen and take air into our body, because the nose has got the hair filters in there, right, which are designed to sort of trap anything in the air, all right? So through the nose. The tongue connects up to the roof of the mouth, because we're connecting the two sort of channels in traditional acupuncture, that's the chi channels that sort of then meet by connecting the tongue up into the roof of the mouth. So all the breathing is done through the nose. So we're starting off here, and we're just breathing in through the nose. And arms, elbows up, opening up your chest. It's all about opening up your chest, opening up your chest. And hold. And force that air out. Hold. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. And we're just opening up the chest, guys. We're opening up that chest. Taking that breath in through the nose. Remember to breathe in through your nose. Breathe in, big deep breath, fill up those lungs, and breathe out. Breathing in through the nose, opening up the chest, opening up your heart center. Okay, now the next one. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in through the nose, opening up your chest. It's like the archer. You're pulling that bow, you're opening up the chest. Breathing in, filling up those lungs, standing nice and tall, knees are slightly bent. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to do our shoulders, okay? So we're going to come up and we're going to hold our shoulders here and we're just going to do this. Okay, we're just loosening up our shoulders, we're opening up our chest, and remember all the breathing is done through the nose, not through the mouth. The tongue is up in the roof of the mouth. We're breathing and we're opening up our chest. We're opening up our chest. We're opening up our chest here. We're opening up, we're loosening up our shoulders. Wonderful thing to do in the mornings, in the evenings, the afternoons. Get the family doing it with you. Check it out on Kung Fu Life. Kung Fu Life. Okay, that's a YouTube channel. Okay, now, what we're going to do now is we're going to do at the back of our shoulders and our chest, because we want to get these muscles in here opening up, because the rib is not just here, the rib goes all the way out to the back and attaches into the vertebra. So it's really important for us to sort of work on that as well. So we're going to go down and we're going to bend our elbows up and breathe, and we're going to open up all those muscles in the back. And again. So we're bending our elbows slightly, we're opening up the back there, letting the head just nice and relaxed, knees are bent. We're opening up those chests, opening up those ribs, opening up everything. Opening up, making that cavity big. Okay? Up, breathe in through the nose, breathe in through the nose, hold. Thank you. Thank you very much. So guys, please check out Kung Fu Life, because then you'll see the actual gentleman sort of performing these exercises again, right, if you need to see that. But that is basically Qigong, sort of 5 breathing exercises to just open up your lungs and open up sort of your airways and just get your lungs stronger. And that's what we need to do. We need to start sort of exercising. And everybody can do this, unless of course you've got some underlying sort of health issues with your lungs. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go through and I just want to introduce you to Wim Hof, and then I'm actually going to do sort of the actual breathing technique with you. Now, I'm going to do it myself as well, right? We're going to have him sort of guide us through with a meditation. And he's going to actually take us through the breathing, all right? And you'll be able to find this on YouTube. So that's what we're going to do. So let me just pull that up. And let me just put the sound up.
Guided breathing session.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do in a minute. But first of all, let me just give you a little bit of information about Wim Hof. Now, a couple of sort of safety precautions for you, all right? It's important that you don't do this if you've got some underlying health issues. So if you're severely asthmatic, don't do this. If you've just had a heavy meal, please don't do this. If you're on any kind of medication that might be sort of because of lung problems, please don't do this exercise, or try sort of in a gentler version of it. But also, it's important that when you do this, right, you've got to be sitting down, right? Don't be standing up, because you are going to feel a little sort of dizzy, and you don't want to fall over. So either do it sitting, or else do it sort of lying down. Preferably lying down, but because of my restrictions here, I'm going to do it sitting, all right? So, but preferably do this lying down. Do this lying down, all right? So let me just tell you a little bit about Wim Hof. Now, he sort of holds 26 official Guinness Book records for feats that are believed to be fatal or impossible. Fatal or impossible. He ran a half marathon above the Arctic Circle in bare feet. He was immersed in ice for just under 2 hours, and he actually physically began to melt the ice with his own body temperature. Now, that's incredible. And he didn't suffer from hypothermia, and had no sort of after effects from doing that. Yeah, any kind of harmful effects from obviously that amount of time in freezing cold ice. He climbed Mount Everest and Kilimanjaro just in shorts, without sort of any oxygen sort of aids at all, which is amazing and one would have thought impossible. He hung a mile up in the air just on one finger. He ran across the Namib Desert, around a marathon, without a single drop of water. He swam under the ice, sort of under the glacier of an ice in the sea, for the size of a whole football pitch, with one single breath. And these are just some of the things that he's done. So an incredible man. Yeah, just as I said, you know, one of our latter-day Supermans. Now, one of the other things that really interests me as a chiropractor and as sort of a neuroscientist is the effect that he had on his own immune system and on his nervous system. We have sort of the autonomic nervous system and we have the parasympathetic nervous system, and we don't normally have that much control over sort of either. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that, or that was the belief anyway. The good thing is that, you know, we can't sort of keep thinking about getting our heart to beat, getting our blood to sort of circulate. We can't keep sort of thinking about sort of all the day-to-day, the millisecond sort of physiology that occurs in our body to keep this amazing vehicle alive. We can't sort of consciously do that. So the subconscious does that for us, and that's amazing. And up to now, we didn't think we had that much control over it. There have been sort of various yogis and various sort of other masters who have sort of done some amazing feats, which would sort of go against that. But Wim has done that sort of consecutively, and he's also done it under severe clinical testing. And one of the things that he did was when you sort of take a bacteria, and you sort of kill it and then inject it, it's like a vaccine, you inject it into somebody. What happens then is that, and it was actually E. coli, the bacteria was E. coli, which is deadly. What happens is that your body will go through a severe sort of immune reaction, and you'll have a high fever because your body's trying to burn whatever sort of is attacking it out. You'll vomit because it wants to kind of get rid of it, it wants to sweat it, it wants to get rid of it, and push it out through your mouth and gut. You'll sweat profusely because it's trying to push it through the skin, because your skin is your largest excretory organ, and you'll sort of have lots of phlegm and mucus coming out of your orifices, and you may have diarrhea as well. Now, all of these things, right, we normally try to suppress, but they are actually sort of our body's natural reaction to when we're being attacked by a bacteria, a fungus, or something that the body is attacking the body, is harmful to the body, and yet we try and suppress it. But that's what normally happens. So this particular laboratory, what they did was they injected over 16,000 people, and they all had this massive reaction to the E. coli, which you'd expect. Yeah. But then what they did was Wim volunteered himself to be injected by it, and by using his breathing techniques, he was able to suppress the immune reaction. And one of the reasons they put that down to was the fact that during this breathing exercise, what we're doing is we're increasing our adrenaline. And adrenaline, what adrenaline does is adrenaline sort of promotes a cytokine, which is a chemical in the body called interleukin 10. And interleukin 10, what it does is it reduces inflammation. Now you think, well, that's not a good thing. Well, it is and it isn't. It's a good thing because what it does is it sort of basically suppresses those symptoms that you've got. You know, all the vomiting, the diarrhea, the high fever and all of that. But what it also does, interleukin 10 does, is it also doesn't stop the promotion of your white blood cells, of all of the army that goes to kill and attack the bacteria. So by doing that, by increasing your interleukin 10 through this breathing method, he was able to reduce the symptoms of the inflammation, but he was able to keep his white blood cells up and attack the bacteria, and he didn't have any of the severe sort of problems that the other 16,000 people had. Now, obviously, sort of the criticism came, well, you're unique, you're different, you know, you're genetically, you're you know, a mutant or whatever, you know. So what he did was he took sort of 12 people, and he for 4 days, and he trained them in the breathing technique and the cold technique, which is sort of immersing yourself into cold water, having cold showers. And after the 4 days, those 12 went through and they allowed themselves to be injected with the E. coli bacteria, the endotoxin, and they had the same response as Wim. Now please hear this, They had the same response as Wim. So Wim is not a genetic freak, he's not something who's just out of the ordinary, right? As he keeps saying himself, and I love this for him, and I love this about him, right, is he keeps saying, I'm not different, I'm not unique, you know, you can do this as well. You can control your mind, you can control your immune system, you can control your body and do these things as well. You just have to know how. You have to know how. And it's really quite simple. You know, it is really quite simple. It is do the breathing technique, get your body oxygenated, get it into an alkaline state, fill those cells with lungs. Did you know that sort of your vascular system, which is your arteries, your veins, your capillaries, right, it would wrap around the earth 3 times. So one human being's vascular system would wrap around the world 2.5 to 3 times. Now that's amazing. And that's all inside you. As is 12 miles of the amazing nerves from your brain that control the 50 trillion cells in your body, which is what chiropractors work on. This is what we do. This is how we can benefit you. Now, with the capillaries and the arteries and the veins, the great thing about that is that if you can get them to work well, if you can get all those miles of arteries and capillaries and veins to work well, then your blood's going to flow better through your body. Would make sense, wouldn't it? So one of the things he encourages is to have cold showers, because what you're doing with the cold shower is you're stressing. You're creating a stress on the body, and by creating a stress on the body, you're getting all the little muscles that surround these arteries and veins and capillaries, because the arteries are quite muscular anyway, they have smooth muscle. The veins don't have as much muscle, but they have sort of the valves, and obviously the lymph nodes and the capillaries have muscles around them as well to make the pump work, to make the action work. And of course you have the main pump, which is your heart. So if by by allowing your body to get cold, right, what you're doing is you're firing up these muscles. You're firing up these muscles. And by firing up these muscles, what you're doing is you're getting that blood to flow through your body. You're getting your capillaries and your arteries to work better for you. And I've been doing this now for about, before Christmas. So about 4 months now, for 4 months. I can't remember the last time I had a hot shower. And if you knew me, then you would know that I'm not a cold person. Okay, I do not like the cold, all right, which is why I'm wrapped up right now, and I shouldn't be really. I mean, after listening to Wim and to hearing what he has to say, we have to create some stress in our body. But what I do is I do have a cold shower every morning, because there are some incredible benefits to it. And one of the reasons that I was doing it, because before I really studied Wim, was I was doing it because of increases your metabolism for up to 2 to 3 hours afterwards. So that's a good thing. So if you're going to have to eat something, you know, then it's going to help to utilize that food value. And the other thing that it does, from what I found out from Wim, is it sort of gets your arteries and capillaries working now. But the other thing that it also does is it sort of activates your brown fats. Now, brown fat is the fat that normally a little baby would have, all right? And it would have it because it can't control its temperature. But unfortunately, as we get sort of older, we begin to lose the stores of brown fat, and unfortunately, most of us will have surplus white fat, adipose tissue. But there is some brown fat still sort of on us, especially around sort of the shoulder area. So one of the things that you get from cold showers is you basically activate the brown fat tissue, so you're going to burn fat a little bit better as well, and that's a good thing as well. But also what he says is that, what Wim says, is that by doing the cold shower in the morning, you're going to increase your oxygenation by up to 20% or so. So your heart rate will go down by 20%, by 20 beats a minute, 20 beats a minute, 20 to 30 beats a minute. Now that's a damn good thing, because one of the things also that will do is it will help with anxiety and stress. So there's some incredible benefits to having cold showers. Again, please do your research, have a look, yeah, and just educate yourselves, So what we're going to do now is I want you to sort of just, if you're going to do this with me, because otherwise it's going to be boring for you, because you're just going to see me go through these exercises. And what I want you to do is I want you to lie down, or sit down, and just have a go, if you can. But if you can't, then go to YouTube, find out sort of the Wim Hof guided meditation breathing, and have a go. But do it at least once a day. Do it once in the morning when you wake up, once again in the evening before you go to sleep. You'll actually sleep better as well. You will sleep better too. All right. And he also recommends a cold shower in the evening, and you'll be able to sleep better. What was amazing was that when he was immersed in the ice for over 2 hours, they took about I think 30 odd sort of little blood samples from him, and they also noted that his core temperature, which normally should run at 37 degrees, but of course he was immersed in ice, so you'd expect the core temperature to go down. Didn't go down. It didn't go down. Right? And he actually started to melt the ice with his own skin temperature. So his skin didn't get cold, he actually melted the ice. And it was through this breathing technique. So it's a really powerful technique, right? It's quite simple to do, right? But there are some sort of restrictions, obviously lung problems, breathing problems. If you're on any kind of medication, please be careful, don't do this, right? He does have a video where he lays out sort of the parameters, as to just things to be aware of, right, before you do this breathing exercise. So do have a look at that. And I just encourage you to have a go. And the one thing that I love about him is, as he says, is you are superhuman. You are superhuman, and you can do this. You can do this, and so much more, and so much more. So let's find out. Let's find out what our potential is, what our capabilities are, and go that next step, and do even more, because you can. Because you are amazing, and you are superhuman, yeah? And you can do this. And one of the things you'll know is that what you're going to do is might feel a bit dizzy, all right? But that's fine, just go with it, all right? And let's have a bit of fun, all right? So find a relaxing spot, all right? Just lie down if you can, or sit if you can't, and let's do this together. And I'll see you the other side. So here we go. I'm going to keep the volume right up, so hopefully you can hear him.
Hi guys, welcome. This is a guided breathing session. Relax to the deepest. Lie down, sit down.
That was a good start. Okay, let's start that again.
Whatever that takes, relax. Are you ready? Here we go. Round number 1. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Just go with the flow of the breath. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, into the belly, into the chest, and let go, like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. is capable of doing. Be aware of your heartbeat. Slow it down and just be this moment. Let that relaxation spread down to your toes, into your fingertips, to the base of your neck and head. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. Okay, recovery breath in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 2. Back into that rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. In, out, in, out, in, out, into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Pull in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. In with peace, out with stress. 10 more. Fully in, letting go. Nice, deep, circular breaths. 5 more. Let's give it all we got. Last one. Fully in. And on the exhale, stop. 1.5 minute breath hold from now on. Feel, become aware of your body. If your hands and feet are tingling, or you feel your body temperature is changing, that's okay. You're doing fantastic. If you need to breathe before I give the cue, that's okay. You are almost there. Do you want to prolong your breath hold? Pause the video now and continue when you feel the urge to breathe. When you're ready, fully in and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Round number 3. Back into that rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. In with the relaxation, out with the stress. In, out. In, into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation.
Hi there. Okay, so before you go, right, don't forget, over here is our details on how to call us. So our phone number is there, and absolutely subscribe to our channel and follow us on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I look forward to seeing you soon.